All right, people, we are here in the midst of day two. We are pretty much directly in the middle of day two. We are on the final pick of the second round, which does belong to the Seattle Seahawks. And they, at the moment, have not yet punched in a pick, so they could still trade it. But as of this moment, the Seahawks are on the clock, and there's still a lot of interesting stuff they can do. So, ooh, pick is in for the Seahawks. Pick is in. Pick is in, but it looks like they're cutting to commercial, so we do have a couple minutes here to talk about this. So, the day's going well for the most part in my mind. Not so much in the sense that things are falling to where the Seahawks are going to be able to make some amazing pick here necessarily. I maybe not. I wouldn't go that far, but we had the Niners who took Stribling with the first pick of the second round, which to me is a bizarre choice. If you want a receiver, there must be at least 5 or 6 other guys that would have been better. To me, that was a really bad pick. Stribling I had in the 5th round, and I think the big boards were not that radically different on him. So I do think that that was a bad pick. The Cardinals did pretty good. They got Byzantis, the Texas A&M guard. That was a good pick. I didn't think it was an amazing pick, but it worked. And then the Rams took Max Clare, a tight end, adequate value, but if you're taking a tight end in this draft and it's not Sadiq, and you're the Rams who already are loaded at the tight end spot, are you just going to turn around and get rid of somebody like a Colby Parkinson? And if so, how does that really make you better? That kind of leaves you in the same spot at best because Colby's a veteran. Max Clare is probably not going to come in and be better than Colby Parkinson day one. But what are you going to do? Have 4 tight ends that need snaps? So to me, that one's kind of funky. So I'm happy with what the division rivals are doing. But now we got the Seahawks here, and we got to figure out what they are going to do at 64 here. And we know they're not trading, so we're definitely going to have a pick here. The elephant in the room right now is Jermod McCoy. His medicals must be atrocious. But if there's any team in the league that can afford to take Jermod McCoy and just live with the fact that he might miss 2026 and be ready to go for 2027, it is the Seahawks. The Seahawks can do that, and it's not really going to hurt them that much. Now, the counter argument there would be the team should be trying to make themselves better now. That's why you took the Jadarian Price pick. But if we take Jermod McCoy, I think that's a call for celebration. But maybe those medicals are just the worst thing ever seen by a human. That's the only thing I can say at this point. There's no reason why he should be still available if it's not that. But there's a lot of other good stuff going on here too that's less risky. You've got Emmanuel Pregnon, who you could move to right guard. Gennings Dunker, who you could move to right guard. Kamari Ramsey would be a good safety and an heir apparent to Love and or Okada. I like Denise Sutton more than most people. I think he would be a really nice edge rusher to get here. Zakee Wheatley would be a good safety as well if you're not into Ramsey so much. I might like Wheatley about as much as Ramsey. Bud Clark would be an interesting safety who's also doubles as a nickel corner. There are still things going on here that the Seahawks can do that would make sense to me. Keith Abney, if you still want a cornerback, he's probably the best guy left other than McCoy. I think Abney would be worthy of a pick here. And there's some other stuff as well that I think would be okay. So here we go. Cliff Averill coming out to announce the pick. Let's see what we got here. Cliff Averill. Very cool to see him announcing this pick. 700 people in the stream right now, by the way. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. Bud Clark. Okay, Bud Clark. All right. So I don't know if he was necessarily really high up on people's lists, but I had Bud Clark as a late second, early third player in this draft. So value-wise, I think we're at about the right point. And I look at Bud Clark and I see a guy who can be a good safety and also maybe the best nickel corner in this draft. Maybe. So you're getting a couple different things here that I think should be pretty fun. Now, I know people are going to look at him and say he's not an outside corner. We wanted an outside corner. But again, when I look at Bud Clark, for the most part, I see a safety. And I think that he's a pretty good one. Now, he wasn't my favorite of the ones left, but the flexibility of him being able to slide down to nickel is actually maybe the tiebreaker here to me. So Bud Clark, I like it. I'm it wasn't my preference at this selection, but I think this gets the job done. We needed a safety in my mind. And for me personally, he slots right in as your third safety for this year. And then he becomes probably a starter next year because Okada, Love, or both probably moving on. And I think we want to keep Nick Emanwari where he is in the slot, probably. And then you also have the flexibility for Clark to do some slot work if Emanwari gets hurt or et cetera, et cetera. So I like this. I like this. It does leave you with some pressing needs going forward, but I like the pick. Now, the Seahawks do have another pick later in the day. They pick at 96. They could move up from there. They still have that 6th round pick tomorrow they could maybe use. They have a few players they could maybe consider trading. So I don't know. We'll see what ends up happening with some of these appealing players, but we're here at 65. There are some really intriguing players that are still left here. Like 2 offensive linemen that I thought would be long gone by now are on the board. So we'll see what they do. But Bud Clark, I like it a lot. I'm not going to say he was my favorite, but I did have him around here, and I do think that there's a lot that he can do for this team that is good. So I will be pretty satisfied with that. So be right back. If you like sports, the best way to make them better and more exciting is using Prize Picks, where it always feels good to be right. Prize Picks, all you got to do is pick more or less on your favorite players' projections and build lineups with a few taps. It's the daily fantasy stuff, but it's made super easy over there. Whatever sport you're into, give it a shot. And right now, Prize Picks is hooking up users with $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. All you have to do is use promo code HMA. I've had a great time on Prize Picks so far. It makes this daily fantasy thing very easy, and it makes watching the games way more exciting. Be sure to check out the social feeds feature so you can share lineups with your friends and tail partners or even fade their picks. Right now, Prize Picks is offering odds on the NFL draft. You have who's going to go where, what each team is going to do, how many of each position is going to go in each round, and so on and so on. Get on over to Prize Picks. Take advantage of that. So download Prize Picks today, America's #1 sports app, and remember to use the promo code HMA. And remember, always gamble responsibly. All right, so yeah, I just pulled up the evaluation I wrote on Bud Clark a couple of months ago, or maybe it was like more like a month ago, but really good speed, really good explosiveness. He's very small for a safety, I will grant you. He's like a buck 90, but very, very good ball hawk, high rate of interceptions in his career, really good closing speed. The nickel versatility, gets to the spot against the run. He reads and reacts well. He's cerebral. He is small and he does have a lean frame, so he might get pushed around a little bit. He does sometimes get beat over the top. I don't know if he'll be good in man coverage because of the movement skills, even though he's fast. But I like Bud Clark a lot, and I think this is a good pick. Maybe not the perfect pick, but you can sign me up for this one. So that is the Seahawks' 2nd round pick at number 64. Bud Clark, nice little player. I think that he will be able to do a little something for us in 2026. And then going forward into 2027, he's probably a starter. All right. See you guys later. Go Hawks. Going to continue to stream on until the end of the 3rd round. But Bud Clark, welcome to the Seahawks.